Good morning, Axial scale builders around the world. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, and you are now watching ScaleWars, Axial's official Battle of the Builders. What's good, everybody? What's good? Hope you're having a good morning, good start to your weekend, all that good stuff. No coffee for me today. I'm going with some water, man. I'm trying to work on this health stuff a little bit. Hopefully, you guys are staying healthy too. That being said, man, I'm not gonna mess around today. We're just gonna kind of jump right into it. We got an awesome episode planned out for you, and yeah, you already know what it is. If you were new here, never seen this before, all this is basically for fun. It's an ongoing online competition. It's brought to you by Axial Racing, and really the whole goal here is just to promote Axial scale builders, okay? There's all kinds of people around the world that take these Axial products and they build really cool things with them, and this is the place to spotlight those products. So if you have built an Axial product, whether it's a bomber, a SCX10, or maybe you built a Yeti or a Yeti Junior, it doesn't really matter. Even if it's not scale, maybe you built an XR10 one time or an AX10, you know, a Shafty or something. There's room for all of it. We want all of it here. SMT10s, the monster trucks, mega mud trucks, whatever you've built, if it's Axial based, and the rules for that are on the website, then go ahead and submit the build. I want to see it. It's just, there's nothing to lose. No one's going to make fun of you. We're not here to bash your build or anything like that. Really, it's just to spotlight the builds, show the insane amount of creativity that's out there around the world, and give you a chance to show off. And we're going to do it all right here. So, that being said, if you want to submit your build, head over to, I'm laughing because I just said that being said again. If you want to submit your builds, head on over to the website. It's www.extremescaleperformance.com. Slide over the ScaleWars tab. Everything you need to know is right there. All the rules and regulations, what you need to have in order to submit your build. You can even check the scoreboard, keep track of everyone's scores, see who's the highest ranking so far. All that good stuff. Everything's there. And while you're there, if you want to, you can pick up some ScaleWars merch even. So, yeah, while you're doing that, keep this tab open. Let's go ahead and dive into this. I'll see you guys over on the battleground. Let's do it. Alright, Axial scale builders, welcome back to the battleground. It's about to go down. We've got 3 awesome builds today, all hard body setups. I'm pretty stoked on these ones. All Jeeps actually as well today. You guys know I'm a Jeep fan, so today's a good one for me and my fellow Jeep lovers out there. First one up is actually this picture here, which I apologize, they're fairly small from this entry, and I'm just going to go ahead and come out and admit I just did this entire entry. I went through it and thought that I was recording, so I went through and did the whole thing and realized I wasn't recording right at the end when I tried to stop recording, and it started recording. So we're gonna do it again, and I can just tell you right now, all the photos are super small on this one, so I have to blow them up, which means that I also can't zoom in on everything. So we're just gonna have to make the best out of it. So, that being said, this one that we're looking at right now, this build submitted to us by a gentleman named RJ Felipe, young man actually, and RJ is out of Gilmer, Texas, here in the United States. He is 14 years of age. At the time of submitting this build, he had been subscribed for only 2 days, so he is new around here. You guys, if you don't mind, welcome him to the family. Welcome to the squad, man. I hope you enjoyed around here. I hope you're liking the content so far, and now what do you know? You get to see your build on the show, which is pretty cool. So, thank you very much for your subscription, Felipe. It looks like he started building RCs back in 2002, so he's been building for a little while now. This project we're looking at here, he calls it Axial Trailcat, and detailed part and paint list goes like this. New bright Trailcat hard body, hacked up axial wraith cage and reversed so the back is in the front. Axial RR10 bomber, skid and transmission, BPC Wraith belly armor, trimmed to clear Yeti trailing arms, Carter Fab Wraith inner fender panels to help add strength back to the cage after chopping it, then added SCX10 links for bracing to eliminate flex, Vanquish products, all these, the next parts here from Vanquish products, Yeti trailing arms and links, anti-rock Yeti sway bars, Wraith bomber V2 OCP axle housings, Wraith scale knuckles, and C-hubs, Rigid Industries Q-Series LED lights, Wraith axle shafts, and 2.2 KMC XD bully wheels. Also from Vanquish, he has the center hubs, the XD series ones, to match those bully wheels. Now, 2.2 Proline BFG Goodrich all-terrain tires is what he chose to wrap those in, and RC four-wheel drive fuel cell is what he uses as a receiver box. Now, he also has RC four-wheel drive 110mm King shocks, Holmes Hobbies Trailmaster BLS HV400 servo, Tekin Pro 4 HD 3500 kV brushless motor, Castle Creations Mamba Max Pro ESC, Castle Creations BEC, MIP drive shafts, and to control it all, he uses a Futaba 4PL radio. Now, the build classification, obviously a trail truck, and on a scale of 1 to 10, he's going to rate it an 8. So he thinks decent of it. Now, as far as who he'd like to give a shout out to, he says, shout out to my dad for providing me the parts I needed for this project. By the way, we've met in person back in 2016 Axial Fest. He says, I was with my dad and my little brother. We were the ones from Texas. I don't know if you remember. And I do vaguely remember meeting the family from Texas, which I'm going to assume is you guys. So, yeah, man. And it's hard for me to picture faces because I've got my mind on all the content I've been editing from the 2017 Axial Fest movie. So, but I hope to see you guys again in 2018. So that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dig into this build. And also for myself, big shout out to your dad and your little brother. I love to see families getting involved in this hobby. I love to see fathers passing down the torch and just, you know, keeping the ball rolling, man. There's a lot that can be learned from building these RC trucks, as silly as that sounds. We're building scale replicas of real things all the way down to the mechanical aspect of it, and it's really, it's an amazing feat for some of these kids, and it blows my mind still to see what some of these younger generations are capable of. So, big shout out to your family, man. Now that being said, let's dive into this build. First impressions. You guys already know what to do. Jump in the comments, go along with me here, and just kind of give some feedback, man. Try to keep it positive. That doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. That doesn't mean you have to like everything. It just means that the goal here is to build up the community, to help the builders improve, and always for everyone here involved with this to try to find a way to level up. So if you can't do that in a polite, respectful manner, then just don't leave comments. It's really that simple. And other than that, just, you know, try to give as much feedback as you can. It's a community effort, and the whole goal with this show, the whole purpose, is to help everyone feel comfortable building and asking questions and showing off their work. And yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So my first impression is I'm gonna give you some props, man. This is a really good looking rig, and after already going through your photos, I do know that you're a Trailcat fan. There's something about this rig that connects with you. I'm not sure what it is, but you really like it, and it shows. So there's another thing I want to point out too, and I realized it halfway through going through the photos the first time, and that is that there's really no way for him to customize this body without it taking away from the original purpose of this body. I mean, there is some ways he can, and I'm going to point those out, and I would like you guys to point out things that you see as well. But all in all, he is replicating a concept vehicle here, you know, a prototype vehicle, and there's only one. There's not like there's a bunch of versions of it or anything. So it's not like it's something you see out on the street that people are taking and modifying around and stuff. I mean, this is, you know, there's only one, so as far as I know. So he's trying to replicate that real one, and the body's from New Bright, so you can't really take it in, you know, what's he gonna do, add, you know, angry eyes and stuff like that to it? I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense. So I'm gonna point out things that I think you should improve on and things you could improve on with the body, because that's really what I think you're gonna be lacking on here. The rest of it's looking pretty dang good. First impression, though, I think that it's clear to me you're after replicating that. I like it. I don't like the green, but that's what the color it is, so it just is what it is, and you made it work very well. My favorite part of this whole build has got to be your wheel and tire combo. I think you did a great job on the wheel and tire combination. Actually, I don't know if that's my favorite part, because I'm also a big fan of your combination of belly skid and inner fenders. The BPC and whatchamacallit, Carter Fab combo is very nice. I also like the Vanquish Products trailing arms that you used. Very nice. It just looks good. I like that it has good proportions. It sits really nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of it, honestly. Now, the things that I'm not really a fan of, and I would zoom in on them, but I can't, is the toy gradeness still of the body. The body still has a toy grade factor to it that I'm not a fan of. And I think I've spotted a few things you can do to help kind of reduce the toy gradeness of it without taking away from the trail cat look of it. So one of the first things I would do is I would cut out the grill. So each slot in the grill, I would cut that out, and I would actually put some form of radiator and tranny cooler looking setup back behind that. Maybe even a rip intercooler. I don't know if they I'm pretty sure the Trailcat's supercharged in real life, so having a rip intercooler might make sense. What else could you do? I would get a real fair lead out on that front bumper. Try to get a winch mounted in there and run a fair lead out. Doing like a chassis mounted servo winch would be a slick move. Another thing that would be a big help would be take the body off and just spray everything black underneath. I know some people might argue with that, but honestly, if you look underneath that and you see the green on the bottom side of the fenders like that, it takes away, it adds a toy gradeness to it. Seeing the the back panel back there where the tail lights are mounted and the hatch for getting into it, getting into the rear hatch and stuff is, and seeing that it's just all open air like that, not a fan of that. Maybe box it in with some styrene, and paint that styrene black, and bring that extra character to it, that extra little bit of life. Plus it'll add room. You could add electronics back there, hide things back there, maybe even cut that rear hatch to open. I think that would be a really nice touch. So not to stick on this one picture for too long, but that's just some stuff I would go over personally. What else could you do, man? I think it looks good. It looks really nice. It's a cool thing. I'd also maybe make some better looking tube doors. Those plastic ones are kind of toy grade-ish. Getting some metal ones on there would really bring it to life. That's just recommendation. It's just my own personal opinion. Let's keep going here through these pictures. Interior shot. Not really gonna have a lot to say about the interior because it's just factory. I think you got a good choice in character. I have that same character in a couple of my builds, and I love him. He's nice and flimsy, and you can move him around, and he sticks with the wheel. If you make the wheel move, it looks nice. He moves properly, so decently anyways. I think it's cool. I won't have a lot to say about that interior though, like I said, just because it's a new bright interior. It's nothing really that you've done in there that's going to stand out to me so far from what I've seen. Now, in this shot, it looks like there's a switch in this back little fuel cell thing, but in other shots, I can't really see that. So I'm curious what's in there. Here, I can see some wires. Might want to get those tucked in, hidden a little bit better. Looks good, though. Maybe get a real license plate on here. Would really help bring some lifelike... just a lifelike vibe to it. Also, some disc brakes would really help out as well, especially on a vehicle like this. It's all, it's like all high-end, latest, greatest type parts on here. Just, like in real life, it would have all the latest, greatest stuff, basically. So, that's some stuff I would do. Trying to think what else. I really would want to see some custom bumpers on here, but like I said, I know he's trying to replicate the real thing, so leaving those bumpers makes sense. Great photos, man. I gotta give you props on your photo quality. They're low resolution, unfortunately. They're really small photos, but they're very, very well done. I mean, they look great. I don't know, just the whole, I'm losing the word there, but the way you have them, framed, the way you got them framed, you did a good job. Everything's in focus where it should be. Just very nice job. Let's keep it moving. Here's what I was wanting to show everybody, the underside of this. He did a good job here. It looks realistic. It looks like the bottom side of a real, race buggy. Just very, very nice work. I love the Vanquish Products parts. Look really good on here. The skid looks really good. Like the MIP shafts that I'm seeing here. Just nice work, man. He did a good job. Big fan. Big fan. Here's the inside. Like I said, you can't see any switches on this photo, but it definitely looks like he put something in there. I would like to see the back of this done up to be a little bit more realistic, a little bit more useful. Cut it out, redo it, you know, box it in properly. Styrene work. It's a good chance to work with some styrene if you've never done it before. Not a lot I can say though. Maybe, you know, yeah, there's not a lot I can say. Get some interior lights for that dash and stuff, you know, get that dash lit up nicely. Another shot here, good photo, but here you can really see what I'm talking about with the underside of it not looking realistic as far as the, you know, the underside of the body goes. Seeing all that green under there and being able to see into areas where it should be boxed in. I would just like to see that done a little bit more thoroughly. Other than that, though, it looks good. And good use of the Axial stickers. I like that. Another nice shot here from the back. Looks good, man. You did a good job of taking photos. Another nice shot there. You know, not a lot more to say about it. You know, interior shot. There's RJ. RJ, I really appreciate you submitting your build, young man. And something that I should point out, I don't know if you guys have noticed this here, but I noticed it when I was going through the photos at the end. He's got a Trailcat shirt on to match his truck, and I think that is probably the coolest thing. He gets bonus points for costume there, and I'm counting that as costume because he dressed up to match his truck. I think that is the coolest thing I have seen in a while. So big shout out to you, RJ. I love your enthusiasm. Great job on your build. I love the fact that your family is involved, and now that I see your face, I actually do recognize you. I do remember meeting you guys, and I think that's great, man. I love that. I really do. All these years later, and you're still here. You're a fan. You're still, you know, participating. You know, it's great. It's great. I hope to see this build at Axial Fest in 2018. And also, nice work on the Scale Garage back there. I see that as well. Looks good. That being said, you guys jump in the comments, give RJ some feedback, let him know what would you do differently, what do you like, what do you not like, what would you like to see done in the future, what do you think could be done to make this a little bit more realistic, and yeah, that's really it. I would love to see more builds from you and your family submitted here in ScaleWars, and yeah, I hope to see you guys at Axial Fest 2018. That being said, you guys, I'm going to move us over to our next entry. If you want to follow along with the scores, you want to submit your builds, you want to just, you know, get involved, see what's really going on here, slide on over to the website, www.extremescaleperformance.com. Link is in the description, and then you can go over to the ScaleWars tab. Everything you need to know is right there. The rules and regulations, the entry form, the scoreboard, all that good stuff, all there for you. And while you're there, browse the website, check out the shop, head over our Teespring shop, all that good stuff. We've got ScaleWars merch you can pick up, you know, all that good stuff. So anyways, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. All right. All right, you guys, for our second entry today, we've got this beast of a Jeep here. This one submitted to us by a gentleman named Scott Edwards. And if that name sounds familiar, he runs a company, actually, Keep It Simple Stupid Fab, Kiss Fab, I believe. That's what it goes by. And yeah, he's out of Enon. I don't know if I've been dreading saying this word. Enon, E-Y-N-O-N. It's in Pennsylvania, right here in the United States. He is 37 years of age. It looks like he's been subscribed to ESP for quite a while now, since 2014. Also started building RCs in 2014. Hopefully I had some influence in that. And this project we're looking at right now, he calls it the Wonton JK, or the Wonton JK? W-O-N-T-O-N JK. I dig it personally. I think it's pretty cool. Now the detailed part and paint list goes like this: JK hard body, painted primer black. The chassis is SCX10 rails and mounted. I'm reading this wrong. Chassis is SCX10 rails and mounts built by me at Kiss Fab. He said, so he does call Kiss Fab. I knew that was right because I'm pretty sure I've got stickers from something they sent me once before. Now axles are SCX10. Cases with beef tubes, standard XR axle tubes, Vanquish AR60 knuckles and hubs. Let's see, with Axial unis, rear is SCX10 with beef tube axle tubes. Vanquish lockouts and Vanquish shafts. Gears are axial over and under gears. Let's see, and he's got locked up FI heavyweight spools, and then drivetrain is RC four-wheel drive planetary. That's a gear reduction unit basically, and he's running that divorced to an SCX 10.2 transfer case, flipped on a Circle City skid with MIP drive shafts. Now this is something that I am a big fan of. I've been looking into doing this myself because I always use the SCX10 transmissions, and ever since they came out with that new style transmission that has the divorce transfer case, like the transfer case you can separate from it, I think it's great. Axial killed it with that transfer case. So let's see, he's got MIP drive shafts. The rims and tires are VP 1.9 OMFs with VP hubs and hardware, and Team K&K brass hexes. Tires are Proline 1.9 XL TSLs with Proline closed cell foams and Coles R&D brass lock rings. Shocks and the shocks are King knockoffs done to mimic air shocks. Electronics are Savix 1230 servo, Holmes Hobby 35 turn Trailmaster Sport motor, and a Hobby Wing 1080 ESC. Lighting by Power Shift Technologies, not done. He says he's got to add lights. Links are 3/16 solid rod with Revo rod ends. Powder coated matte black. Chassis and cage color is a two-stage process with a chrome base and anodized Aussie red powder coats. The truck isn't done yet, but I've been beating it anyway. LOL. Yeah, I can relate. I know how that goes. All right, so let's see. We got more here from him, or is that it? I think that is it. So is that it? I feel like we're missing some stuff here. Let's pause just for a quick second. I need to check this. All right, you guys, now I did wind up skipping some here, and I'm glad that I caught that. I just knew that we were missing some questions here, and I'm not sure how that got by me. But the build classification obviously is like a trail. Well, he's got it actually listed here as a crawler U4 bouncer category. So in other words, he likes to beat on it, even though it looks like a trail truck. He drives it like a like a bouncer. It sounds like. Now on a scale of 1 to 10, he really didn't rate it very high. It looks like he gave it a 1. Now I'm not sure why he would do that, but I'm gonna have to disagree there. And as far as who we'd like to give a shout out to, he says I'd like to give a shout out to. I'd like to give shout outs to all the vendors that make my trucks possible. No, he said vendors, not sponsors. Now, Beef Tubes, Vanquish, Savix, Circle City, Team Brood, Team K&K, MIP, RC 4-wheel drive, Cools R&D, AG Used Parts Warehouse, Holmes Hobbies, Hobby Wing, Proline, Nivert Steel, Powder by the Pound, and most importantly, Axial for providing great bases to build awesome little trucks. Also a shout out to Extreme Scale Performance for the awesome videos. Also my wife for letting me build these trucks. Alright, so that is the entire list there in its entirety, and thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that, brother. So, woo! That being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dig into this. You've had a little bit of time to kind of peek at it now. What are your initial thoughts on this? What are you thinking as soon as you see this? Me personally, my first thoughts are it looks like a beast of a Jeep. I actually really like it quite a bit. There's one thing that I'm not a fan of, and this, it's hard for me to say this because I know how fabricators are about their work. Last thing you want to do is tell a fabricator he should change something. But, that's what this show's all about, and I'm going to be honest. I keep it straight, and I believe this man's got tough skin. So, first thing I'm not a fan of would be the front bar work right here, the front fender protection, and there's only one reason why I'm not a fan of that, and I know that you did this on purpose. It's not a mistake on his part, I can guarantee that. Basically, I just don't like how high this goes. I wish that you would have made this match the actual fender line a little bit better. I understand you made it high to keep the hood protected, probably in rollover scenarios is my guess, or to clear for the wheel and tire, but I'm guessing it's for hood protection in a rollover. But in all honesty, I would have much rather seen this just down, you know, right here at the same angle as the fender. I think it would have looked great. But that's just me personally. You know, basically like you did in the back here. I think the back part of this looks absolutely phenomenal. You did a great job there. So I also really like these rockers here. The protection for the rockers, how you did this. I like that it's got a little kick out. You know, it's almost like two pieces here. I really like how you did that. I love the open doors. I love that the body's already getting beat up. Basically, I think this is awesome. I really do. It's something that I've been wanting to build myself, is basically a two-door JK with no doors, no crazy fancy stuff, just caged up with some big super swampers and or just some big tires in general, some nice bead locks, and just built to perform. I've been wanting to build one that's just caged up and built to perform, not a street Jeep weekend warrior, but a true, you know, trailered to the trail, borderline class 3 type, you know, crazy crawler, though not nothing fast, something that's slow and low geared. And this right here just has that image, it has that look, and I really like it. I really do. So like I said, the only thing I don't like is that front fender work right there. If that matched the back, you know, and ran along with that, I think that would it would have just set it off beyond anything I could have expected. So that being said, let's keep it moving. I love the selection on the wheels and tires. I love those rings. Those rings just look killer. Looks like you might be missing some hardware. Sign of beating on it for sure. Your next shot is in the rear. Very nice work back here. Nice uniform. Looks good. Yeah, I like it, man. I think that maybe, I keep trying to zoom in and I'm swapping around here. I think that maybe cutting this to open up would be a nice touch, and adding like a shovel or something back here. Something that you would actually use in this, you know. A shovel is something that's commonplace in a trail rig, just in case. Or maybe putting a high lift jack back here would be kind of nice too. Don't go crazy on the accessories, obviously, as this isn't your trail rig, so to speak. This is more like an actual crawler. So I love that you've got the matching wheel and tire combo in the back with the hub and everything. That looks really good. Interior shot here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you extended that gear shift handle or knob or whatever. It looks extended to me. If I remember right, those are super short. So you probably added all this. That's a nice touch there. Good work on the cage work here. That, I mean, it's tucked right down to the dash. So really nice there. Definitely want to see some lights in here. You said you hadn't got to that yet, if I remember right. So I would love to see some lights in here for sure. It's cool rig, man. I'm really liking it. Let's go ahead and see if we can back out of that. And there we go. Out in the wilderness there, out in its natural environment, looking good. I like it. You know, and you know, I'm not gonna hate on that front little arch right there. It actually does look really cool. It looks aggressive. It reminds me of a rock bouncer setup, so to speak. And if it's narrowed, like it's pinched in the front, then even more so. So I'm really not going to hate on it or anything. It's just a preference, I think, more than anything. So just something to keep in mind to anybody that's watching this. Don't think that I'm going to hate on you just because we got different taste in metal work here, in cage work. Here's the bottom side. That's what I was looking for. Looks good. Nice and flat. Good work down here. I mean, it looks like it'd slide over everything pretty easily. I don't see a bunch of wires and stuff dangling down. I don't see a bunch of RC type stuff. The only thing I see is the Holmes Hobbies motor and the planetary setup, which is really nice. Good innovative work there. I see that the wires you do have are shielded, so smart work there. There's a little bit of wire loom kind of poking through, and I don't mind seeing a little wire loom. It looks good, man. This is a really beautiful rig underneath. Just all together, I think it's very realistic. It looks like a trail rig trail rig, you know, whatever. It looks like a Jeep that you'd see out there getting beat on fairly often, like something from a Mad Ram 11 video. So I really like it a lot. It's not overdone on stickers either. You don't have it just covered in stickers, which is something a lot of people do too much. I've been guilty of that myself. Here's some of his work here. You can see what he's done there with the planetaries and the Axial transfer cases. Just really cool work. This one's got a little bit, you know, too much angle here. This is kind of excessive. I'd like to see that straightened out a little bit. And it looks like you're tight on room here, but if you could somehow get that straightened out a little bit, it would definitely help. Maybe get the motor over, or just get it a little further away, which would give this I mean, just even a little bit would help straighten that out. So just some thoughts there. But it looks good. These are very nice, clean layouts. I like that the wires are hidden very well. Good job, man. Good job. Action shot, overexposed, so you can't see much, but it looks like it's doing work on a couple of non-axials back there. Another interior shot. It's a little blurry there, but we get the idea. I mean, just looks good, man. Not so sure about those lights in there. I'd get rid of those, and plus it looks like they're glued in. Get rid of those, get some proper lights in there. If you don't have the buckets, then I would recommend the Q series lights from Vanquish, fit proper in there. There's some other ones you can do too, but those work good. RC4 Drive has some you can use. But definitely get some proper lights in there. Also right here, get something behind this grill so you don't see that servo. Get some sort of, you know, intercooler or the RIP supercharger or something back there, you know, so, you know, anything, even just get a piece of plastic and put back there and scratch a bunch of straight lines into it to make it look like a radiator, you know. That would definitely help. Other than that, I'm digging it, man. You did a good job. I think that's our last picture. So you guys jump in there, let Scott know what you think about his build. What would you do differently? Do you like, you know, do you like what he's done or not? I mean, how would you make it your own if it was yours? Me personally, I think he did a great job here. I think instead of going the route of, you know, super clean and fancy and, you know, having all kinds of stuff on there, he built a Jeep that is meant to do work, and I think he did a good job of it. It looks super realistic. I'd like to see it finished off, so, you know, get the headlights finished, all the little things I was just talking about, you know, the behind the grill area, get that cleaned up and made to be a little bit more realistic. Some inner fenders would definitely help, just some form of inner fender to hide what's going on right there. What else? Get that, you know, light bar up top situated. Looks like you had one up there at one point in time, or were planning on it. Yeah, you know, I think I said just about everything I could think of here. I think you're doing a pretty good job, man. It's a cool rig, and I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see some winch activity on there too. But other than that, you guys let them know what you think. Jump in the comments. I think that's about it. We're gonna move on. I think you'll find the next entry to be pretty entertaining based off of this entry. So let's do it. On to our third and final entry. Alright, you guys, on to our third and final build of the day, and this one's submitted to us by a female. I love it when we get females on the show, man. That's always the best. That's two episodes in a row now that we've had female builders on here doing work, so super stoked on that. This one, though, it's funny, is this one's submitted to us by a woman named Kristin Mancia. And Kristin is, she's out of Enon, Pennsylvania as well, same place as our last builder, and she is 33 years of age. She has been subscribed to ESP since 2014, started building RCs in 2014. You guys starting to see a pattern here. Project name here that we're looking at, she calls it the Daily Driver JK. So nice contrast to the last JK we were looking at, which really wasn't much of a daily driver, more of a complete trail, you know, or towed trailer to the trail type of rig. So Daily Driver JK is what she's calling this one. Now the detail part and paint list goes like this. It's hard body JK, chassis is SCX10.2, rails, cage and mounts built by the hubby, KissFab. There it is, it gives it away. So in case you guys haven't figured out, this woman is married to our last entry, Scott. So Scott and Kristin are a couple, and they are doing RC together, which I think is just amazing. I think that's the greatest thing ever. So big shout out to both of them for that. So let's get back into this. So Scott over at KissFab, her husband, built the mounts and the cage there, and then axles are stock 10.2. The drivetrain is a RC4 drive planetary and divorced SCX 10.2 TKs, flipped and overdriven to the front. So just like the last one basically, and it's sitting on a circle Circle City skid, stock 10.2 drive shafts, rims and tires are SSD 1.55, black D windows. Is that what it is? Yeah, D windows. And Team K&K brass hexes. Tires are Pitbull 1.55 Rock Beast. Shocks are Axial 10.2 kit icons done to mimic air shocks. Oh, interesting. Electronics are Savix 1231 servo, Team Brood Intensity 40 turn motor, and Hobby Wing 1080 ESC. Lighting by Power Shift Technologies, not done, adding lights still. Links are 3/16 solid rod and Revo ends. Powder coated matte black, chassis and cage color matte black with a bit of metal flake, and then the truck isn't done yet, but I've been beating it anyway, LOL. Okay, it's very similar to the last one. Build classification, trail truck, and on a scale of 1 to 10, they rated it a 1. Again, I don't know if they meant to do that with the ratings, but definitely not a 1. Now, as far as who they'd like to give a shout out to, or who she would like to give a shout out to, she says, I'd like to give a shout out to all the vendors that make my trucks possible. Beef Tubes, SSD, Pitbull, Axial, Team Brood, Team KMK, Hobby Wing, RC4 Drive, Nivert Steel, Powder by the Pound, and of course ESP for the great videos. Also my husband Scott at KissFab for giving me the yellow Wrangler I've always wanted. LOL. Alright, so that being said, obviously there are some similarities there, but you know, it's a husband-wife duo, so there's bound to be a lot of similarities there. I'm sure they help each other with their rigs, their builds, their ideas, all that stuff. So first impression, you guys, what is your first impression of this? My first impression is, well done. This is a good looking build, man. Very well done. I love the proportions. I love the 1.55 wheel tire combo. Just looks fantastic. Still got full fenders on there, which looks great. I just really like it. I think you did a really good job here. What can we do here? You know, there's not a lot to comment on. I think you did good. I'd like to see some inner fenders. You know, I don't see inner fenders on here. I can see in there a little bit, so that'd be nice to clean up. But let's keep going through these pictures. Interior, I'd like to see some lights in here. Yeah, I know there's a lot of room behind the dash, so definitely you can hide a lot of electronics in this dash. Get some lights in there. That would be really cool. Just get it lit up really well. That would definitely bring it to life. Also like to see, you know, maybe a little paint detail on the interior. You know, just highlights, things of that nature. Maybe add like, you know, some accessories. Get like a fire extinguisher, things of that nature in there. But I like it. I think it's really, really good looking rig. Here's both of them. You can see the one from the last time as well. Some good looking rigs, man. I like these. They definitely look good. The wiring is really nice too. You guys did a good job on the wiring. Another interior shot there. You know, there's not a lot to say about it. It's very clean. There is one thing I will say, and that is, oh, look at that cage work, man. You do a really good job of getting the cage right down over the top of that, and I really like that. Big fan of those cages, man. I kind of need me one of these interior cages like that. Feel free, that's all I'm saying. I like that cage work. I like these tube doors as well. Good job, man. Well, I say good job, man, because I'm assuming that it was your husband that did that, because you did say she did give a shout out to him for doing the cage work. So let's keep it moving here. Underneath, looking very nice, very clean underneath. I like it, very clean. 10.2 axles looking nice under there. I like that everything's blacked out. I like the wires are hidden. You guys have been watching the show for sure. You guys, I mean, I can see it. You guys have definitely been paying attention. Everything is as I like to see it. Left the motor and the planetary exposed there, kind of showing off your you know, choice of electronics. I understand that. I do that from time to time. If you want to hide that stuff, obviously just painting it black would hide it very well, but a lot of people don't want to paint their electronics. Another thing you can do, because you guys have chosen to go with forward motor mount situations, is just to get motor covers as well to hide the motor setups. It's something I've been looking into myself a lot lately. Very clean though, man. This is outstandingly clean underneath. That's what I like to see. That looks like the bottom of a real vehicle. Another nice shot here. Curious if you're liking those tires over the pit bulls or not. I think I'm a fan of the pit bulls over those, even though the RC4-wheel drive ones look very good. I know that they just don't, these ones in particular don't grab as well as the pit bulls, at least on my rigs. Front end here, obviously you're lacking some serious scale detail on the front end. I would like to see, you know, all the essentials, you know, get that radiator and stuff in there, maybe the intercooler or something, get your headlights figured out there. You're missing that marker. I would like to see that back in there. You know, what else? You know, get the winch on there. You know, there's definitely some room for improvement on the front end here, you know, as far as I'm concerned. Also, maybe getting some stickers up on that windshield. You don't have to overdo it, but getting at least one sticker on there just to rep for something. Doesn't have to be a company, you know, maybe get your guys' Kiss Fab sticker on there or something of that nature would look cool. Axial Fest check-in sticker in the corner would be nice, you know, or Recon G6 one even. In the back, looking very nice. I like that. And good work here. This whole thing is just really cool, man. I like it a lot. I'm personally not a big fan of putting the spare tire on the inside like that. I would still have my spare tire on the outside. But I like this. This is very cool. I like to have my full seat and my, you know, the back of my stuff all accessible. I like to be able to open up the rear end there and access everything. So, you know, for me personally, that's my preference. However, I see that you guys are a big fan of doing that, and I gotta admit, it looks really good. Looks really cool. Nice work. Nice on the insides again with the, you know, the detail. You know, a little bit of paint goes a long way. You could definitely light up that dash work there with some paint, and just a couple of LEDs. On top, nice and clean. Nothing really to be said here. A lot of people would say add a roof rack, add, you know, your light bar, all that stuff, but it's really not necessary. There's a lot of Jeeps out there that don't have roof racks or light bars, so I think you're doing good. It looks really nice. There's not a lot to say there. It just looks really good. There's an action shot of it out there doing work. Looks like it's got the swampers on for that day. And that's it. That's all we've got as far as pictures go from this one. So you guys jump in the comments. What do you think of this young, well, is she, yeah, she's a young lady. She's younger than me. She's a young lady here. So what do you think of this young lady's work, man? And what do you think of them as a duo here? Jumping on, a husband and wife team, jumping on and really putting in work together. I think this is really cool. I like to see teams like this. Are there more husband and wife teams out there? If so, you guys submit your builds. That's, you know, two that I can think of, that I can recall right off the bat. We had one of the ladies yesterday, her husband's been on here plenty as well. So, I would really like to see more of that, man. Show the family aspect of this. How many of you guys are building together as a family? How many of you guys are helping each other out? How many of you guys out there managed to pull your wives in? How many of you wives out there managed to pull your husbands in? I mean, let me know. I would love to know in the comments below. That being said, if you want to submit your builds, you want to follow the score, you want to see how things are done here, you just want to participate, go ahead and head over to the website, www.extremescaleperformance.com. Slide on over to the ScaleWars tab. Everything you need to know is right there. If you don't remember what I just said, you can just slide on down to the description below. There will be links there for you. You can check everything out. You can check out the Patreon. You can do all that stuff. It's all there. That being said, I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys really enjoyed this to start off your morning. I hope you're all hyped up, ready to go build, ready to go drive. That being said, get them builds submitted. I want to see some more cool stuff on here. Let's see some out of the box stuff, man. And that's it. That's it. I'm going to wrap it. I was trying to think of something fancy to say. Ain't nothing else to say. You guys already know what it is. I'm going to see you out on the trails. Piece of chicken grease, fam. Yeah.